Well, here we go. I remember Livingston, the gull who learned to fly to his own rules, the only rules that kept him in the sky. He was different from the others, who lived to gather food, for Livingston's only passion was to fly as best he could. He reached toward the open sky, sometimes 1,000 feet, and from there he dived at breakneck speed, and he wasn't always neat. Time and time again he'd fail, just when he thought he'd made it. Somehow his wings weren't strong enough, and he'd hit the sea. God damn it, there must be more to living than just chasing boats at sea, relying on men for breakfast, perhaps a crumb or an anchovy. The disappointed parents were distressed with the only child. Why couldn't you be like other gulls? Livingston only smiled. For deep within himself he knew he would fly despite rejection, to travel 200 miles an hour. There had to be perfection. The next day, out he went again to meet the lonely sky. Today I'll fly as God said I can. Today is do or die. He flew to 1,500 feet. The sea was far below, with beating heart and slit-like eyes. Right now, all systems go. With head pulled in, wings folded back, he began the far descent. Ton up now, he opened wings, and the explosion left him bent. He hit the sea like dynamite. Of this, he remembered nothing. When he awoke, the night had come. He was in the sea and floating, sad, sore, disillusioned. He cried, "Why, I'm a seagull, for God's sake be what you're supposed to be. You're not a falcon or an eagle." A voice within him called, "Your wings are long, oh Livingston. The falcon's short. Let's face it. Now go on home and be a gull." Short wings? Short wings? I've got it. No wonder I've been failing. I've been opening up too wide. That's it. That's it. This is how to fly. And so, with body bruised and aching, he took off for the sky, up 1,000 feet and more, his blood flowing fast and warm. He reached 3,000 feet and then he started coming down. 60, 90, 2 ton up. What speed, exhilaration, with wingtips out and beak pulled up. He skimmed above the ocean. The joy, the thrill he felt right then, the sweetness of the air, the inborn source he just unveiled, was far beyond compare. Up he went, and down again. He spent the whole night flying, full loops, rolls, and peeling off. This was really living. But the real thrill came when he thought of the flock. There was so much now to share. For me alone to know such life would really not be fair. And so he flew to the great white cliffs, his body tired and worn, but his mind was alive with excitement as he turned east to salute the dawn. And then below he saw them, the boats going out to sea, with the breakfast flock there begging for a crumb or an anchovy. He found he could not take it and began to turn away. But then he decided to show them how to fly that very day. He rose much higher than before and dived toward the flock, pulling out in perfect time. A few gulls were in shock. They scattered, screeching, "What's going on?" Some began to yell, and above they saw him proud and strong. An eagle? No, a seagull. For being so irresponsible, the elders were quite wild. They called the flock together to decide how to handle this child. At a noisy council meeting, the decision came quite fast. From that day on and forever, ever, Livingston was outcast. His last farewell was moving. His mother stood and cried. But someone called, God bless you, son. At least you damn well tried. He flew off somewhere to the north, lived his life alone, where in flight he became quite perfect. Yet he often thought of home. If only they would listen to what I have to say. One's life is not one's wingspan. Will I show them this one day? At peace in his surroundings, he thought and lived and flew. Each new day a challenge, each day something new. The western sun would find him a tired but a happy body. The western sun would find him in the evening of the day, a tired but happy body, who had been himself all day. And then, one night, while fast asleep, he saw himself growing older. Flying upwards 150 feet was all his body could muster. And from the corner of his eye, 2 great gulls came closer, both so strong and beautiful, mirror images of each other. He stood quite frozen, watching, disbelief in his eyes. He'd never seen birds so vibrant, and then he realized the messengers of life had come to take him to some land where he could learn much more than now. Return to lend a hand? It was here he met his people, who understood real flight, and was one with all the elements, and one with day and night. These were birds who thought like him, who strived to find perfection. And here was learning more of life, of love and introspection. He thought of the time he had spent on earth, continuously searching. He was told by then, you must know yourself. But that is really learning. That's why you're here now, son. And very soon you'll find, more important than your body, is the beauty of your mind. For instance, said one gracious bird, I'd like to see Japan. So I close my eyes and imagine it, and zap, right there I am. Your body has its limits, but your mind just knows no bounds. Everything belongs to you for miles and miles around. But I've thought of this so often, said Livingston earnestly. We must have the will to do these things. Like that man again, J.C. And so he learned to know himself, to be both north and south. He learned to praise the humblest forms with his eyes and body and mouth. The time arrived for him to go, to pass on from the dreaming plain. But he thanked those gulls for all they did help. It was good to be back again. He awoke and took reflection of the things that he had dreamed. Excitement welled inside him, and eastwards then he turned. To greet the day, to breathe the air, to stretch a powerful wing, to reach the sky, skim the sea, and fly, and sing and sing. Yet as he flew and glanced the air, a gull was coming nearer. Livingston went up to meet him. You're welcome, young brother. The bird had flown from many miles, had come from Livingston's home. He too was now an outcast. Why? For doing just the same. Doing what he thought was right, being himself and with no fear. They told him to leave the great white cliffs. We'll have no upstarts here. Livingston approached him quietly, looked him in the eye. Tell me, Brother Seagull, do you want to learn to fly? They started where the teacher knows best, right at the very beginning. But just to fly with Livingston was absolutely thrilling. By spring, they were joined by 6 more birds. The times were really changing. To think that people challenge now without just blind accepting. He taught them all to live and fly. Some of them slow for sure, but not one of them could get enough. They wanted more and more. And after many months of thinking, Livingston was taking stock. He decided that the time was right to return to the breakfast flock. But what will we do if we go there? Asked a few birds in dismay. They may even try to kill us. For sure we'll be chased away. But Livingston raised a wing and said, our mission is one of peace. We let them judge us by our ways. We're not begging for a truce. So they flew toward their former home, a journey with great potential. And no matter what the outcome, what they came to show was essential. Ahead of them, the great white cliffs. They flew double diamond formation, peeling off and swooping low. And from the cliffs, the exclamation, "Who are these birds? They must be gods, but yet they look like us." "That's right," cried Livingston in the sky. "You're me, we're you, you're us. Everything that limits you, you have to put aside. You've got to use your talents. This you cannot hide. Right now you have the freedom to be yourself, you know, to break the chains that bind you, to go where you need to go." And from the crowd, a frightened gull came forth with a crippled wing. "If I could only fly," he cried, "I'd surely join you then." "Come on, son," was Livingston's call. "Get off the ground there, man. The only way to learn to fly is to believe you really can." With trembling heart, he stretched his wing. He was lifted to the sky, and for the first time in his little life, he discovered how to fly. "Ignore them," said the elders, "and they will go away." But these instructions came too late, for they were here to stay. In hearts and minds and thoughts and dreams, the impression had been made. Life's purpose is for flying, that life will never fade. Pure, daring, pure naivety, and yet it grabs us, doesn't it?